Noah's Ark, one of the most popular Bible stories around. It's, I'd say it's probably one of the top 10. I mean, you could probably put it up there with the likes of Adam and Eve, Samson and Delilah, most of the Jesus stories, and Noah's Ark, you'd say would definitely be up there. But I have a couple of issues with it logistically that I'd like to run you through. So, starts off, God decides that mankind has become too decadent and must get rid of it. He doesn't decide to try and save it or, try and save everyone and show the error of their ways. He just goes, no, get rid of them all, clean slate. That's an interesting approach, and not one that I necessarily disagree with either. Anyway, so God finds a man called Noah, who he considers to be, a very amicable man, a very good man. And he says, hey, Noah, FYI, I'm going to flood the earth, but I like you, and I think you're pretty cool. So what I want you to do is I want you to build me an ark, which is basically a big boat. And I want it to be big enough that you can have 2 of every animal living on it. And Noah, he's pretty cool with this. He goes, okay. He doesn't mind doing God a favour. And Noah must have been an incredible man, not only to be able to build a boat of such scale and, able to survive an apocalyptic flood, but also, able to hold 2 of every animal with all the facilities needed to care for those animals. It's just incredible. And also his knowledge of the animal kingdom must have been immense. He must have been the David Attenborough of his time to know, for example, the difference between a male fly and a female fly, or a male beetle and a female beetle. With an elephant, it's easy. You just go, yeah, that one's a boy and that one's a girl, so it's fairly easy. But, with flies and beetles, that's just incredible for that time as well. So, anyway, Noah gets most of the animals. He seems to leave out the dinosaurs. Maybe he just didn't like giant carnivorous lizards. Anyway, don't know. So, he builds the boat, he gets everyone on. And also, I don't know if God told them this or not, but he must have sorted out fish as well. Because if you think about it, right, there's 2 types of fish, or sea creatures. You've got your freshwater creatures, and your saltwater creatures. Now, what water was the flood? Because it couldn't have been both. And, how did Noah figure that out? And also, how did he build an aquarium to facilitate the creatures that wouldn't have survived the flood? So say, for example, God's flood was done entirely with salt water. This was a salty apocalyptic flood. Then, Noah would have had to have built an aquarium for all the freshwater creatures. And that would have been incredible at that time, to see a freshwater aquarium. That would have just been amazing. So anyway, Noah's managed this. He's found 2 of most of the animals. He's got them all on the boat. Everything's going well. And he gets into the boat. Flood starts. Boat survives. Hooray. All the animals are doing good. And, he sails around for a bit. And then eventually God goes, right, well, that's probably long enough. And then this is the thing that gets me. All the water just disappears. Now, think about this. God has brought in... Also, I want to know where God brought the water from, because there must have been a certain level of water that always sort of stayed the same on the earth already, like it is now. And then God's just he's God. I know he can just create more water. But, how did he bring it all in? With the clouds from space with it that came and rained and rained and rained and stuff like that. And also, where did it go? Is there a giant plug, maybe like in between New Zealand and South America, where all the water's just drained down, or, half the water, and then he put the plug on and gone, right, that's about right. Where has all the water gone? Did it just bugger off into space, or, did it all get turned into ice cubes for them to put in their drinks to celebrate a summer of surviving an apocalypse? I don't actually know, and it's just one of those things that annoys me about the Noah's Ark story. And, it's basically the thing with the Noah's Ark story altogether. It's a great story, but there are just so many plot holes.